Okay, so it just shows me that I am live right now. So now I'm trying to, huh? Oh, I'll tell you later. It's basically it's my YouTube creator community hashtag. Okay, so it is showing that I'm live now. Are you able to see it? Okay, so it is showing that I'm live now.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so all right, so now it's showing that I am live. So good evening. This is definitely an unscheduled impromptu. I almost said good afternoon, good morning. I don't know what time it is. Let me tell you, as a flight attendant, we really never know what day or time it is, which is kind of cool. Sometimes kind of meh. All I know is I got home about 11:30 this morning, and the first thing I needed to do was just rest. Like didn't even wash my makeup off yet, just rest. But I got some rest in, got some chill time with the kids this afternoon, and I was having a conversation that sparked this memory, and I'm like, huh, this is something that's kind of neat to share with you. So, you're going to see me do a lot of these lives from my bed, from my layover hotel bed, from my couch, because I'm tired. Okay. I work, and I work. And what I'm doing here is a labor of love. If you didn't know, now you know. So when I'm coming on and talking about these things, it's because I'm so passionate about it. And again, this really is a labor of love. So those of you that have been showing up for me over the past year that I've been on YouTube under this new channel, thank you so much. Another big shout out to Bourbon Bougie, my internet cousin, because I'm so appreciative of her giving me that push to just start again. And I've got a lot to say. A lot of you really appreciate my perspective. And it's neat to know that this is another way that I can use my voice to make a difference. So, hey, again, I'm Darling Nikki. I am a singer. I am a background actor. I am a mother. My kids do background acting as well. I am a writer, content creator. I am a flight attendant. I do a lot of things. I'm a mom. So, first of all, that's what, like 4 or 5? I'm a full time solo parent, sole provider and parent. So, that is what, like 4, 5, 6 full time jobs right there. So, again, you might not see me glam on here a lot because it just is what it is. I need to rest. So I wanted to share a memory that I had that really helps to further illustrate how the patriarchy hurts everyone, not just us as women, but it hurts men. It hurts children. We know this, but this is just another story time from something that I recalled that we could say it's a negative canon event for my life because I really believe it changed the overall trajectory, if I said that correctly, of my life. And I just had one of those what if moments, and I'm just going to share it with you because let's imagine, like, what if, the patriarchal system coupled with the narcissistic family system had not been such a strong factor in my previous life. I imagine and I know what kind of world I would have been able to have for myself, how I would have been able to impact the world, myself, my child at the time, and my future children had I decided to have them. So let's get into it. So again, we're talking about we'll talk about something that affects us all, patriarchy. And it's not just about how it impacts women, like I said before. It impacts everybody, men, children, the entire world. So let's get into the story. So those of you who know me, who've been rocking with me for a little while, you know that I've been singing my entire life. But it wasn't until I went to college that I really got into professional music training. But shout out to my upbringing in church because growing up in the black church, you gonna learn how to sing. And the black church is at least the ones I went to. They were called like the silk stockings, uppity type Baptist churches. They're not gonna play patty cake with you. They're not just gonna clap hands and say that's all right, sing for the Lord, baby. They gonna tell you the truth. And if you got it, a lot of those elders would recognize it. I do think the church pimped it, and that's a whole other conversation. But I'm going to try to focus on the positive. The positive is if they recognize that you had a gift, they would really try to get you to lean into it and try to get you to use it. So that was a great thing about growing up in the church. It really kind of put me in a position to use my voice in that regard and to use it a lot and to learn how to develop it a lot outside of school. And there's some things that I think that just outside of school that uh, teaches you like this soul and this other element that the book just really can't teach you. And that it's one of those things where you just got it. Like you got your gift and you got your talents. And that's all. That's it. Hey, you guys are loud. I can hear you over my AirPods. That means you're loud. All right. So go back into that. My very first, I would say, professional training was when I got a full scholarship to Langston University. So shout out LU first. I went there because I was told that they were going to have a music performance program, just give it a year or two, but they wound up not having that. They wound up only having a music education. I don't have the patience. I'm not interested in teaching. Like, you just don't get paid no money. I ain't like kids like that, which is funny because I wound up having, several. I wasn't interested in that. So I wound up not really staying and not being motivated to stay in that program because I didn't want to be a music teacher. So fast forward a couple of years, I find out about UNT. Life circumstances had me moving to Texas, and I wound up auditioning. I had to be a pre-music major when I first got there. There were some things that I was lacking, but I worked really hard. And I worked with trainers, and that's crazy. Pre-music, like pre-med, like that's how serious they were back then. And I don't know what it is now. It's been a long time, but at that time, UNT had the number one jazz music conservatory in the world. So it was a big deal. So I worked and I really applied myself to be able to audition and get into the program. And I did. Oh my God, I was over the moon, guys. Like, UNT jazz singer. Like, do you know how many people came through there and the connections I was able to make and some of the really good friends that I made that were just so loving and kind to me and so encouraging. Two of them died recently, and it is still like shocking me. Like, one of them, like, I swear we had just chatted and he had just shared my Facebook post. And then all of a sudden, like, I'm on vacation and like on my birthday, I'm getting a message that he passed away. And the other one, it's, God, I think it's been a year. And um, I'm just really grateful to the both of them because they both were very encouraging to me. So shout out to Daniel Jones. Shout out to Sean Martin. And if you are a part of, like, I would say, the Black gospel music community, you understand who those people are. And I know one of them had a connection with UNT, maybe not both, but because I was in school, in music school there, I made so many really amazing connections with musicians and other people who would become like mentors or friends or just people that I really looked up to. And it was like a whole nother world opened up to me. And it was really amazing. It was an amazing time while I lived there. Excuse me, y'all. I got some sinus stuff happening, but it was an amazing time living there, studying there, practicing my gift on a more professional level. And I wound up landing my first, or actually my second, maybe my third, but I would say my first like major professional uh, music, like, I don't want to say gig or maybe career or job. Now, I'd done some background work for a couple of like semi-professional artists in the past, but none that had like accolade and prestige. So I wound up getting on with a project from Fred Hammond, and he's a Grammy award-winning gospel artist. And I learned so much working with him. Man, phenomenal time of my life. So I'm doing all this stuff. I'm in the UNT jazz program. Uh, I wound up working with this gospel program. I think the group or the gig at the time was called Warehouse Worship. It's been a long time. Yes, Warehouse Worship, and it was really cool. And some of those singers went on to do some, I mean, just worldwide amazing things, and that's really awesome. So when I was there, I was married to my first husband, and I had my first child, and she was a toddler during this time. A lot of you know from, kind of rocking with me for a little while that I came out of a toxic narcissistic family system. Sure, there's a lot of good, but there's a lot of damage that it caused. And there's a lot of things that have just never been healed, that I've had to do the work to just heal myself, which is why I'm able to talk about it now from this side rather than living all the consequences from the other side. You guys, I don't know what's going on. Forgive me. My sinuses are acting up and I got a gig tomorrow. Ooh, okay, voice tea is happening tonight. Voice tea and rest. So, let me pull up comments. All right, let me make sure that I'm looking at comments as they come in as well. Hey, so if you're watching and you're one of my friends, would you do me a favor and just share this so that other people can see that I am going live? I appreciate your support. And I'm going to pause to do the same thing right now to just let some of my people know, hey, I'm live. Come hang out with me. Okay, maybe not. I don't know where. I want to share it, but I also don't want to take up a bunch of time. All right, so I appreciate you that are here. Thank you so much. I'm gonna get back to it in just a second. I just want to share this live and let some people know to come hang out with me on YouTube live while I talk about this. If there are things that you want to say or questions that you have, then drop it in the chat. I can see it. I would love to, extend the conversation, amplify some of your voices and your stories as well, while I talk about mine and a specific memory that I just had that further illustrates how the patriarchy hurts everyone. How in that moment it hurt me, it hurt my daughter, it hurt my future children, it hurt my husband at the time, and it robbed the world of whatever it was that I would have been able to give them from that particular place. Now, I don't want you to feel sorry for me because I did get to continue to go on and to live my dream and to be able to perform for a living. And I appreciate that. But man, how different would life be? Hey, Tanya. Hey, girl. Thanks for joining the live. How different would life have been? You know, how much more would I've been able to provide for my daughter then and later, and then for my future children? Had I, again, like I said, had I decided to have more children, man, the world that I would have been able to bring them into. Someone else that I want to shout out, and it's not because I'm trying to name drop, and I mean, half of you may not even know who he is either way, even though he's a big deal to me and a bunch of musicians. But I remember having a conversation with an old friend. And at the time, he was like a mentor and big brother. And he was trying to get me to see the big picture. And it was around the time that me and the first husband, I knew that I was going to divorce him. We were going to go our separate ways because our lives were going in different directions. And he had said to me, listen, you're in a good position. Why don't you just let him have custody? Let him have custody and you just, come on tour, do this, stay locked into this music community, go out, live your dreams, make things happen for yourself. You could still be a mother and then come back and get full custody after you got your bag. But because I was so steeped into the patriarchy and I was so steeped into what the role that I was placed in my narcissistic family system, I really did not believe that I could do it. And I also had so much mom guilt. How many of you had mom guilt about taking opportunities and doing other things that could take you away from your children because you were taught that that makes you a bad mother, that makes you a bad parent? That's what this is all about as well. So, working with this gospel singer, Fred Hammond, I get this amazing opportunity to do some European gospel tour. It was like a cover tour, from what I recall, where we would go and do, cover really popular gospel artist music and go on tour. Just started getting some information about that. And of course, I'm over the moon. I'm calling family members to share the news. Now, I remember that when I first started to blow up to it in my mind and start to get these bigger roles, I'm looking around and no one's coming to the concerts. No one's really pubbing me. I know I had an album, and some of them, I think they may have played it and shared it, but I'm not. I would see friends have this whole like cheerleading section and family like showing up for them and just everything just, I mean, like my friends, I see I'm sorry, my children's friends, they're a lot of their family systems are so close, they're so supportive. When they graduate elementary school, they've got signs in their front lawn. That wasn't my story. So it just wasn't. So I don't know why I expected it to be when I got this opportunity to go on tour. It wasn't. I remember calling the oldest patriarch in my family that I was really, really close with for almost all of my life. And what she said to me when I told her that I'm so excited. I just got this chance to go on tour in Europe. I'm getting more details about it. And she said to me, how dare you? What kind of mother? Her exact words were, what kind of mother leaves her child with her father just to go do X, Y, and Z? And I was overcome with so much guilt because whatever this woman said was the gospel to me. That's just what it was my entire life. She was my shiro. And I don't take it back. She was. For the majority of my life, she was my shiro. But in that moment, I was so deflated and defeated. And it reinforced this thing of something that was obviously taught to her. And I forgive everybody. It is what it is. But I'm also here to dismantle that bullshit. It was something that was taught to her that she felt it was her duty, that because she believed it was right to pass down to me, that as a mother, you do not, as a mother, how dare you? You do not walk away from your children. That was considered walking away from my child and being a bad mother, to go on tour and to leave my child at home with her father. Now, mind you, this is a grown ass man who is capable of being a parent. So this is how it hurt me, and this is also how it hurt him, because it reinforced and taught him that as a man, that you don't have to be an equal partner. You don't really have to be a parent, that you only have to be an NPC, that you only have to be a supporting character, but you really don't have to really do the job. That's what I'm here for. So I was surrounded by a lot of influences that taught me that. And so I didn't take the gig. That guilt trip worked. And throughout the years, I had other people say things to me. I had one lady who was like a surrogate aunt say to me some years later when I had my son, and I was getting mind you, when I had my son, like I had these children, and I was still there. I was their only provider by then, so I had to, kind of keep in shape and get right back out there. And I had some film I was working on, and she said to me something like, "Your children really need you at home instead of you being out here trying to be a superstar. They just need you to be home, be a mother." I had these type of toxic things said to me for so many years. I believed it was true, and I really believed that that patriarchal rule that says that the woman belongs in the house, in the kitchen, only with babies on your tits. that that was honorable. Anything outside of that was dishonorable. Um, those guilt trips, they worked, and that guilt trip when my oldest was a toddler, it worked. I turned down the tour, and to this day, guys, I've never had a chance like that ever again. And what happens is you get so steeped in many of us, not all, thank goodness, not all, but many of us, and I did. You get so steeped into this patriarchal system that you wind up having one kid, another kid, your husband is your kid, and you really get sucked into this quicksand life where you are in service to everyone around you while you're not really taking care of yourself, your goals, your dreams, your visions, because you're told that when you become a mother, you don't matter anymore. What you want in life doesn't matter anymore. You just have to just take care of your kids and that's it. That's that's what it did to me. Um, I've got some notes here, so obviously I'm kind of checking on that as well. Um, so that really limited how I was able to provide for my daughter then and now. I talked about how that already hurt my husband because he never got a chance to really step up and be an equal parent and be an equal kin keeper, caretaker of the house. Um, it taught him that I was supposed to do all the heavy lifting, and that's what it teaches all men, and it really handicaps them. Of course, a lot of them are just very happy to have that handicap, and to feel like and to believe the lie that they're above this, they're above the work of parenting, of housekeeping, all that stuff. It hurts us all back. It hurts us all because it holds us all back from what we could contribute to the world. Um, if we're just supported instead of shamed. And that was a lot of my story, me being shamed and not really fully supported, especially during the times when I really tried to launch out because I always knew I've got a gift, I've got a light. I'm not supposed to just be here, I'm supposed to be doing other things. It took me until close to my 40s before I decided. um it takes two. I hate that for you. It took me until I was close to 40 years old before I decided, okay, I got to break out of this. This is what good has this done for me? I'm existing and I'm surviving and I'm doing a little bit here and a little bit there, but I'm really not living at my full potential, and it's making me a bitter mom. It's making me a resentful mom. I'm going to be so much happier when I just shed all that bullshit and I really 100% go for what I know to the best of my ability. There's a lot of limitations that I'm running with now, and a lot of mothers like me, unfortunately, are. So, am I going to reach Janet status? Obviously not. Obviously not. But I'm still going to go with full gusto toward whatever the maximum is that I can achieve in my life. But imagine had I just been told, imagine had I believed, had I been taught, had it been nurtured in me from a very young age that I could and that I should. And that even if I have children, I still should. And that the children should not be the reason why I don't do something. That child should be even more the reason why I do. Um, so my call to action really is, once again, can we please recognize how these systems hold everyone back? Can you please practice now supporting each other and breaking these cycles so that no one else has to choose between being a good mother and following their dreams like I did, like so many other women that I know did. And so that fathers can actually be parents, co-parents, not just freaking bystanders. Um, I'm remembering a rant of a like a sister friend. I think this was around the time that I got my first opportunity to be a flight attendant. Um, I expected her to be excited for me, and her exact initial words to me were, "Good. The children already don't have their father. Now they're not going to have you either." And then she went into this whole like righteous rant about basically, do you think that I wanted to be a nurse and all this other stuff, but I did this and I took on this miserable life that I'm unhappy and I'm tired. I'm because I have children. That's what you do when you're a good mother and you have children. You don't try to go for your dreams or goals anymore. You just go do whatever you got to do to take care of your kids. But the outcomes that she had were, and this is no shade, it just is what it is. Her children were so unruly. One of them, they had a mother who was unhappy, who was stressed out, who was resentful for everything. You think that did not affect their behavior, their attitudes? One of them, I had to stop letting her come around me and my kids because she would bring violence into my home. And she'd be flipping out on them and was so unpredictable. The son wound up for whatever reason deciding that he just really wanted to be in this hood gangster crowd, including getting shot. I'm saying this because as the head of the home, if you are not happy, if you are not showing the example of you doing what you want to do with your life, of course in a way that's reasonable, in a way that is healthy, but you still taking care of yourself, you still fostering your dreams, your goals, whatever your life path is. If you're not walking on it, I'm glad you called bees and said yes to you. Uh-oh, I'm glad that you called bees. I don't know exactly what that means. I need more words. Sorry, sis. But if you're not walking in the direction of your goals and your dreams, then you're going the other direction. If you're not going toward the light, you're going toward the darkness. And if you are, for whatever reason, sometimes it's because of stuff outside of you, like it was for me for many years. But you can see the outcomes that it has on you. If you have children, it's going to do it to the children too. Okay, answer your request. Hold on. All right, I just answered it, honey. It's going to do it to your children. It's going to do it to everything and everybody that you touch. You're going to go up or you're going to go down. And if you're allowing other people to push you away from what your soul knows, like what you know, like in your being, if you allow people to separate you from your calling and your path, then it's it's like a degenerative path that you're going to be on. It may not be so uh it may not be so pronounced to where I'm saying you're going to have a bunch of violence or something, but it's going to lead to outcomes that are just not favorable for you. It's going to keep going in a direction that you don't want it to go. When you're doing things that you just don't want to do, and that's it, and you're not doing anything for you. It's not honorable. It's not honorable to make yourself a martyr and to be completely unhappy with life because you're just taking care of other people, you're not taking care of you. That's one of the points as well. Um, Encouraging your sisters, telling your sisters that she can, finding ways to support her, to support that sister, that cousin, that mother, whatever, to your girlfriend, helping her find resources to support her. It really does support good outcomes for her children, for everyone around her, for the world. If she is flourishing, then everything that she touches is going to flourish and it's going to have positive outcomes too. That's just law. That's law. We are creators. We're creators. So we're going to keep creating and it's going to be creating in an upward direction or a downward. It just is what it is. And that's the point of all of this. Again, I don't sit into a bunch of self pity and go, man, I could have been rich and famous by now. I probably could have been. I believe I would have been a lot wealthier. I would have had, man, great outcomes had I decided to just reject these things that were put on me, reject these things that I was taught. But that's not likely. That is not likely. If that's all you know and that's all that you're taught, you're going to have the outcomes that come along with it. Like I said, I was almost 40 years old, and that was because of being exposed to the world more, being exposed to other people, coming across other friends who were doing more of what I was doing and saying, hey, like I would say, even close to 10 years ago, I mean, I can't do that because I got the kids. And I would have just two or three girlfriends go, yeah, you can. Here, I'll come watch them. Or, yeah, you can. Let's find a way. I had those few people that had to show me what was outside of myself that I just couldn't see. And so I want you to try to be one of those people for somebody else. That girlfriend, that sister, whatever, who really can't see outside of her circumstances, be that for her. Because again, that's the bottom line. When she thrives, everything around her does thrive. And sometimes we just need to be able to tell someone else, another woman, and she needs to really know and be able to see that, even if it's just a little bit of support, that she can. And she needs to be able to be released from that mom guilt if she's a mother, and to understand that, like I had to start being stubborn and saying to people, like, there's another video on here somewhere where I was bullied by some flight attendant mother because she chose to wait until her children were older and grown to become a flight attendant. And she saw that I had, leveled up to another airline, and I was posting about it in a flight attendant group. We were celebrating it with other single mom flight attendants. And there were a couple of nasty itches who came on there to try to bully us because they really believe that because we're single moms, we shouldn't be a flight attendant. And it got really nasty. And I just had to let that heifer know, just like I let people from my past know, all the reasons why you're telling me that I can't do this, these are all the reasons why I should, so that I can break the cycle so that my kids don't go down the same path. So my kids are not stuck. They need to see me be unstuck. They need to see me fly. They need to see me flourish. They need to see me not allow my circumstances to be an excuse. They need to see also that mothers have every right to go and do big things just like any other man does. When men have children, I still have people who will ask me, this is kind of outside of music, but I'll still have people who will ask me, in real time, like during flights, if they notice or hear that I have a child, well, who takes care of your kids? And I say, okay, so did you ask if we had a male pilot? Because obviously our pilots and captains are not just males. But I'll say to them, so my pilot has kids. You want to go ask him that as well? So don't ask me. Don't ask me that dumb shit. We have to actively really clock and block these patriarchal, and I didn't really dig much into the narcissistic family stuff that played a part in, a part of the outcomes of my life that I had to work harder to get away from. That's another conversation for another time, but I didn't want to overlook it. I did want to, you know, at least acknowledge that was there as well. But we need to be really active on not letting anything slide. And when we're noticing those things, those little things that are said, it doesn't matter the intention, it matters the outcome. So when you hear these little things that are said and done, call it out. Call it out right away. We're doing a disservice allowing, especially women, to continue to push this really, really, really sick limitation on other women and other mothers, um, and thinking that that's right, or that that's righteous, or that that's moral. Man, just use your brain a little bit. Think. Be an independent thinker about this, and imagine the world that you, or that she, or that her children would have if we continue to reject all those little things, that the patriarchy tells us, and all those old rules that a lot, of us will still try to push on each other. So that's it. Um, I need to obviously wash this makeup off my face. I need to go soak. I need to help with some chore time. One of my daughters just passed me a note again. So I need to get out of here. Thanks for chatting with me. Thanks for joining my live. Please, let's continue the conversation in the comments. I'll try to get back to the comments sometime later on tonight. Just dropped a new weekly video. So go back to that video. Let's see. the last video on my channel. So if you haven't noticed, I'm dropping weekly videos now, getting into a workflow. Look at your girl growing up a little bit. So the last one is called Being Your Baby Mama Doesn't Mean You Have Access. So on the thumbnail, it says we have a kid, not a bond. And there is also a corresponding blog and a corresponding podcast. So you can get the links to the blog and the podcast in that video. So let me know what you think about it. Working a little bit more and more to level up everything, level up my YouTube game. I really appreciate you all being a part of this journey of content creation and me just sharing what I'm passionate about for the liberation of women, particularly Black women, single mothers. There's something in here for most of you, as long as you're not a Negro Dactyl, an Ash Guardian, an Ooga Booga, then there's something here for you, even if you are not a Black single mother. Um, but that obviously is my target audience, is very niche down to that. Also, uh, the very last live that vidIQ did, they gave me a shout out. That's so cool. They looked at my page and my YouTube channel and they did a little bit of a thumbnail review. So yeah, they ate me up a little bit, but I appreciate that. That's the difference between XX and XYs, mind you. Uh, I'll maybe not 100%, but a lot of us. That's the difference between a lot of us. As women, we want that constructive feedback. So I appreciate. Shout out to vidIQ. Thank you so much. I hope you noticed I took right away your and some of the people in the comments, some of your feedback about my thumbnail. So how do you like me now? You like my new thumbnail? Because I heard what you said and I implemented it right away. Thank you. So vidIQ is amazing for people who are YouTubers or who want to be. They give so much amazing free game. Now I invest in them to a degree as well, but so much free game, and they go live and they will look at your channel sometimes in real time. Some people I heard were having waiting like over 2 years to get looked at. And for whatever reason, my first time on the live, they looked at me. Well, we know why. We know why. They saw that light. And so that's awesome. So I appreciate that. So you're going to see as what I continue to do, which is evolve and grow the channel and the brand. And thank you for your support along the way. So that's it. Darling Nikki, my website is askdarlingnikki.com. Two ways that you can support me is to go get go get my mug, my handle your business mug, and sip like the boss bee that you are, the boss babe that you are. I also have an ebook, The Brilliant Awakening, the second volume. You can download both of those on my website. Obviously, I got 4 kids. One of them is about to be a junior in college. Listen, okay, these children is bougie and they're expensive. So if you support me, support in action. Go get that mug, go get that book. Keep showing up here as well. YouTube is now monetized, and share, like, comment, share, all of that on a regular basis. All right. Bye bye.